Hello and welcome to Making Media Now, the Filmmakers Collaborative podcast. I'm your host, Michael Azevedo. On this episode, I welcome back Mickela Mallozzi, the four-time Emmy-winning host and executive producer of Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi, a PBS series that highlights the diversity of dance with episodes filmed around the world. A dancer since early childhood, Mickela has parlayed her lifelong passion into a popular PBS series that travels the world to celebrate the joy of movement. Now in its 7th season, each episode reaches over 2 million viewers. Here's a preview of Season 7.
I'm Mickela Mallozzi, and I'm back with a brand new Season 7 of Bare Feet, where I continue to connect with the world in such a deep and powerful way. Join me for this new Season 7 of dance and music adventures from around the world.
Making Media Now is sponsored by Filmmakers Collaborative, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting media makers from across the creative spectrum. From providing fiscal sponsorship to presenting an array of informative and educational programs, Filmmakers Collaborative supports creatives at every step in their journey. To learn more, visit filmmakerscollab.org. And if you're enjoying this podcast, please do like, share, and follow. Now on to my conversation with Mickela Mallozzi. Hello and welcome back to Making Media Now. Mickela Mallozzi, how are you?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
I'm doing great. I think as I was just sharing with you, you and I first spoke 4 years ago to talk about your series Bare Feet with Mickela Mallozzi, which runs on PBS stations and multiple other platforms that we can talk about all over the country, and I'm sure is accessible all over the world, which is fantastic. So, 2021 was when we last spoke, which must have been season 3 of your series?
It was actually Season 4 had just come out.
Oh, okay.
Because we put out 2 COVID. We had 2 episodes in the can that we had shot, and we realized we could put out 2 episodes featuring Carnival in the Guadalupe Islands. Right. But we were connected because I learned about Filmmakers Collaborative while doing the IPA, the Independent Producers Association. And we got all this feedback from fans. I was doing lives during COVID, right? These online lives on Facebook Lives and YouTube Lives and Instagram Lives. And there was this sort of energy of people wanting to help and see to keep the show going. And Filmmakers Collaborative was an incredible opportunity to have a fiscal sponsor, but also a crowdfunding campaign and page. And it was extremely successful. When last we spoke, I think we were just announcing okay, we're going out to start filming season 5, which ended up being season 5 and 6. We filmed all 12 episodes together in New York City because we couldn't travel still in 2021. Yep. But there was this magical moment of New York reopening, quote unquote, post-COVID. I'm doing air quotes with my fingers right now. And it was wonderful. So I've been a proud member of Filmmakers Collaborative ever since. It has been an invaluable, and this is not an ad for Filmmakers Collaborative, but
it works great, so keep at it.
I mean, it really has been this invaluable resource for us whenever we get foundation support or even fans who are like, I love your show. Should I give money to my local PBS member station? And we're like, no, we don't see a dime of that. Here's this platform. Send in the check here or pay even $10 if you want, whatever amount. And we raised a significant amount of money through the Filmmakers Collaborative. So we're super grateful, and we wouldn't be here now. Season 7 just came out.
Season 7.
And season 8's coming out in October. So we honestly couldn't have done it without without Filmmakers Collaborative. It's been amazing.
Well, it is that wonderful combination of, what FC offers to media creatives like yourself. And a media creative like yourself who so believes in your project, and really you had the genius insight that once you connected with a particular audience, you just had them, and now you've taken them on this journey for, as you said, season 7 is now airing. Tell us a little bit for folks who haven't seen any of season 7. talk to me about where you went, what you experienced, and maybe even, season to season, how the show has evolved from
Yeah.
your, initial concept of it.
Yeah. So and P.S. I wasn't the genius. It was one of my fans who reached out and said, "We want to give you money. How do we give you money? You've been giving us Bare Feet Lives for a year for free. Like, what can we do for you? You've been providing us with joy." So when I listened to we listened to our fans.
Yeah.
And when we did that whole New York season, we did a call out to our fans of, in New York, where do you think we should go? Who should we feature? Do you have great stories? We got hundreds of submissions, and we built this beautiful community. So that's the beauty of it, as well as like building community. That's the beautiful part of social media, I think, is actual connecting with humans.
Absolutely.
Versus just these online posts and likes and reshares. It's really that human connection. Anyway, just wanted to give kudos where it was due, not to me, not at all. It was them. So Bare Feet, the mission of Bare Feet has always been to connect with the world through the universal language of dance and music. And we have never wavered from that mission. The way we shoot the show, we tell the show, has pivoted over the years in the sense of production value has gone up. You put in the 10,000 hours of work and you understand I'm executive producer. I created the show. I'm also host of the show, but I'm also the fundraiser, marketer, social media person, all those things. And so as the show has evolved, we have grown significantly, but also in the way we present these stories, we dig deeper into stories. So season 1, it was like me and a camera sometimes for some episodes. Sometimes it was one person with me, maybe 2, depending on how it worked out. Season 2 was all of traveling the world within the 5 boroughs of New York City. That was our first New York season as a co-production with the City of New York, the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. But it was me and one girl. We were running around the city on the subway with the camera and just like shooting this beautiful series of New York City that we love so much. Season 3, I got my DNA tested because our pilot episode was about me going back to my roots. You meet my nonna Pina, you meet my family. So season 3, I knew I'm 100% Italian. My ancestry, both my parents come from the same small town. We can trace our roots back for generations. And I thought, let me get my DNA tested. So at the time, and I say that as a caveat because back in 2017, when I got my DNA tested, less people had gotten their DNA tested as well. They were in the system. So I had this like Mediterranean swath along North Africa, the Iberian Peninsula, into parts of the Middle East. And it was a really cool, diverse, and even like 0.002% was potentially northern, like the British Isles. And now, because it becomes more refined, it says like 99% Lazio, Italy. So it was a very powerful, it was a very powerful season for me because I felt truly connected to these places of just the idea that maybe someone in my past, which they may have, Italy was it was conquered by a lot of different people and influenced by a lot of different cultures. And over millennia, like you have these influences. And so that was beautiful. We did 12 episodes of anywhere from Ireland to flamenco in Spain to dancing in Morocco with the Amazigh people, the Berbers, to dancing in Uzbekistan and Cyprus and Romania. And it was beautiful. Georgia, Republic of Georgia. Season 4, that was when the world shut down. But we had already filmed, and we were planning just to do one episode in the Guadalupe Islands, but we had filmed that prior to our DNA season. And we were holding it for season 3. And then when I decided to do the DNA season, I don't come from the Guadalupe Islands, so it didn't fit. So we were like, okay, we're going to push it to the next season, whatever that might be.
Yep.
And then COVID hits, we're all grounded. We do our Bare Feet Live series, but I realized we had potentially 2 episodes worth of content because we shoot so much. And so we did. We put out those 2 episodes, and that was right about the time that I met with Filmmakers Collaborative. As the world started opening up, season 5 and 6 are the reopening of New York City through the lens of dance and music, of traveling the world. So we did Little Sri Lanka out in Staten Island, a little Caribbean out in Flatbush, Brooklyn, we do a whole Empower NYC episode featuring voguing for the LGBTQ community. We dance with the Table of Silence for the in memorial of 9/11 in Lincoln Center, and we also did a whole Black Voices episode to talk about the impact. One of many impacts of Black voices, like the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, Harlem School of the Arts.
What was so great about that particular season when you were, in New York? Well, you did not literally travel. You didn't get on a plane and go someplace else, but you traveled. Like every episode feels like a different world.
Yeah,
all within
because it is
one world. Yeah,
it is. It is Flushing, Queens. It's like you feel like you're in China, or you feel like you're in Taiwan, or you're in Korea. I mean, it's amazing. So we're very lucky. My team and I are very lucky. I feel very lucky that we live in such a culturally diverse city, such a culturally rich city that's easily accessible in general to get around. So it was just natural way of continuing this story of bare feet. Because honestly, I think we all thought, when you think back on 2020 of like, oh my God, are we ever going to be able to travel again? Are we ever going to be able to like hug each other again? Or it's strange to be kind of back to normal and to think back 5 years ago of how different it was. And especially our show, I know other shows were filming traveling again sooner than we did, but because we're a dance show, I have to be able to like touch people and be in very close proximity. So I know other hosts, I know Samantha Brown in particular, they would do shoots and they would have to stand like 8 feet apart as they're interviewing each other. And we just couldn't do that. So we had to wait. We had to wait a little longer.
So I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I want to hear about what season 7.
Oh, season 7, right?
Kind of the decision making in going into a new season.
Yeah. So it really is what's possible. Like, this is the idea of the pivot. Like, we didn't give up on Bare Feet. Same thing with the Bare Feet Live series that we did online. I didn't stop and start making videos about I don't have a dog, by the way, but like of walking my dog or cooking or things that didn't relate to bare feet. Bare Feet has always been about connecting with the world through dance and music. And so I wasn't going to create content just to make content. We had all these people in the pipeline that we were supposed to have been filming with, but shoots were on hold because of COVID. And also people we had already shot with. So these wonderful people around the world. So I reached out to these folks to say, hey, would you be interested in, I do a quick interview, kind of like we have here in our Zoom, a 2-screen. And then will you give me a dance lesson in that style of dance, where you're from and what you do? And we're prompting everyone tuning in with us to try it at home. And it was a weekly series. We never repeated a style of dance. So for 52 weeks, we created bare feet content. And that was, so for this season 7, we're like, we can go back to traveling again. We want to go back to getting on a plane, and our show's never about what's the best hotel, what's the best spa or best restaurant. That's not what we do. But what we've learned over the years is telling stories. I feel heavily the responsibility of having the platform that I have, especially through public television, public media, PBS, all those things. The responsibility I have of giving platform to voices that aren't always heard. And we saw that with season 5 and 6, Black Voices, the Garifuna episode. One of the fans that reached out and said, you need to learn about the Garifuna community. I'd never heard of them. And most New Yorkers don't know about them. And it is a population of 250,000 people that claim Garifuna heritage in the Bronx.
Cop to my ignorance here. I do not know. I don't even
Most people don't. Most people don't. It's
geographically, locate where that.
Yeah. So they were a tribe from the island of St. Vincent. It was the Arawaks and the Kingdom of Mali, people from Africa, and they were a mixed tribe. And 5,000 of them were exiled when the British colonizers were coming over and colonizing the island of St. Vincent. I think with the negotiation of Spain, they were exiled to Roatan, Honduras. Wow. 5,000 of them. They almost disappeared. Now there are 250,000 of them in the Bronx, and another, I think, 500,000, or my numbers could be wrong, 250,000 or 300,000. Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, Nicaragua, that area of Central America, and it is incredible. Like their stories, so the dance, the music, the food, the language, all these things survived. It was a real miracle. So it was a beautiful story. So I get to choose the stories we want to tell, but there is that sense of responsibility of it's not just, let's just go here because it's the most beautiful. I get to learn these dances and music. So there's a part of it is like, what are the dances I want to learn? Right. But also, who are the communities that we haven't given voice to yet, or that we feel like should get voice? So for season 7, we work very closely with Tourism Ireland. I have to be very transparent. Ireland is one of my favorite countries in the world. I've been 17 times.
Oh my gosh.
Since I work so much, I have no Irish heritage whatsoever. Since I work with them so much, I'm now the co-host for the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Dublin that airs on Create TV for the past 3 years. You know, like I have become the spokesperson for Ireland, mainly because Irish music and dance is so organically integrated in the culture. Everywhere you go, they're so hospitable. It's such a beautiful place, and we never run out of stories. So we did Donegal and Sligo. I'd never been to the northern part of the Republic, and then we went into Northern Ireland, which I'd never been to, and we did a whole episode in Belfast talking about the resiliency of folks. You know, I think a lot of people don't remember or realize, like, Irish people have been oppressed. They were colonized for over 700 years by the English. Yeah. They almost lost their language. They almost lost all of their culture. And so that, too, is a miracle. And so we film with them. We're filming at in Lafayette, Louisiana for Festival Acadienne et Creole, for the Cajun and Creole Festival. We also filmed. I grew up in the disability community. My sister's a wheelchair user. She has cerebral palsy. And we've always featured disabled professional artists in our episodes where the stories fit. But I thought, you know what, we're going to do a whole episode just on accessibility in the arts here in the United States, and what does that mean? So it's a unique Bare Feet episode. It's not a typical Bare Feet episode. It's all 5 segments feature professional disabled artists or education programs for kids with disabilities and people with disabilities. And it's beautiful. And it's, I think, one of the most important episodes we've ever done. We barely got any funding for that one because, as you know, like, especially now, DEI, accessibility, female-led stories, all that, that's the arts. That's where money's just being sucked away. But I'm the most proud of that episode, and I invested a lot of personal investment in that episode because it's the most important. I think it's a really important story.
When you say you had difficulty getting funding for that episode, do you treat your funding as one-offs like that per episode, or is it more to try to underwrite the season?
We underwrite the season, but we do work with local destinations and local governments.
Episode specific and more germane to them.
Yeah, and we also, we work with destinations for a lot of in-kind support, right? Okay. We don't get money from PBS, and so we heavily rely on, when we go into a destination, if they're willing to offer in-kind support for, let's say, travel and accommodations as we're in their destination, because we're featuring the destination. Kudos to Visit Cleveland. They supported us. But other than that, and that was one segment of 5, but, our flights, everything was out of pocket. And usually we get some sort of support because an episode featuring their destination is worth, they're getting eyeballs to their destination in a unique way. Yeah. So for us, we got no support from New York. We got no support from Denver, Colorado, even though half of our episode was filmed in Denver. They flat out said to us they didn't see the value in featuring accessibility because we were pitching them a whole episode. We kept finding these amazing accessible stories outside, like just over and over and over again. And we just financially couldn't, without their support, any support, we couldn't do that. So we're still glad we did it, invested in it. But, yeah, there are parts of making this series that we treat individually per episode, but in general, our underwriting is for the entire season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting and really strategic. What have you learned about and sort of observed developing within yourself around the visual aspect of making a television show? You know, as your crew got a little bit bigger, and you went to places that were just visually stunning. You said that you wear a lot of hats, all of the big hats
Hmm.
to do with the series, and one of them I would assume is you feel a responsibility for how this TV show looks.
Yeah.
So what kind of growth and lessons have taken place within that area?
I'm glad you asked that because our crew is now a crew of 6.
Nice.
Yeah. And season 2, it was just me and Lina Plioplite, my now director. She was my director of photography. So there was 2 of us.
Mhm.
Seasons 3 through 6 was 3 people.
Mhm.
And now we have 6 people. Yeah, it was super
Same
important.
DP?
Excuse me?
Same director of photography all through?
I have my same DP. He was our second camera with Lina. So I find people that I love working with, and we have a new sound person. We actually have a sound person. I used to have to do sound. We have a producer, Meredith Howard, our director Lina Plioplite. She was our DP. Now she's our director. Our second camera has become DP. That's Evan Carter, and our second camera Jack McGovern. It's a great team, and then our editing team, our post production team. But yes, it was imperative to say, let's sit down, especially with our DP. He's like, this could be so much more cinematic.
Mhm.
We have the capability now. And to be honest, it was sort of like, you know what? My crew's bigger, budgets are bigger. Let me ask for more money from our sponsors. And funny enough, when you put a higher price tag on something, people assume it has higher value, which it does because now we can invest more. So we were able to get that money.
Yeah.
And I think in my head, I was always afraid to ask for more because it seemed harder. And I'm not saying it got easier, but all of a sudden it was like, it didn't, asking for more money from folks didn't change the conversation, funny
Yeah,
enough.
a lot of times the perception of the difficulty of the ask is irrelevant to the
Yeah.
number attached to it.
Yeah.
It's if you can master the ask, then and the correlation between perceived value
Yeah.
and what you ask for that you brought out. That has been brought to my attention, dozens and dozens of times, and I've experienced it also.
Yeah. Yeah.
The end of somebody who submits proposals, but it's kind of a fascinating, human behavior dynamic.
Yeah, it's like people don't want a deal. They don't want to get a deal, or companies don't want a deal. They want to know that the money that they're spending, all this money, is like worth it. So,
and I also think sometimes it's aspirational in the sense that they want to be connected with something that has, perhaps a higher price tag, which may feel like it's a more prestige association.
Yeah. And we still make this show pennies to the dollar compared to network television, cable television, streamers, like a Netflix series or something. But it's a beautiful show. It's a beautiful show. And this season 7, and then season 8, we go to Aotearoa. I'm with the Maori people in New Zealand, dancing with them. I do the haka. We're dancing in Havana, Cuba. And then we're in Taiwan. So we're with indigenous communities in Taiwan and in Taipei, Tainan City. It's beautiful. But I learned also that it's not great to wear all the hats because you're diluting the work that you can do, right? And so I was actually hired. I had worked with Tourism Ireland. Again, I love Ireland, and Condé Nast Traveler. And we did a short video. It was a 2-day shoot in Dublin. Gorgeous video. And I hired on Evan Carter, my DP. I said I need him to be part of the crew. And then we had a Condé Nast directing team and producing team. And then we hired all these local folks in Dublin. It was cheaper than bringing everyone over, and they were fantastic, and it was wonderful. It was a crew of 11. And it was after we had shot season 5 and 6, so we were still a crew of 3. I go into a crew of 11, and they're literally like, "You're a talent," even though I helped produce the segments.
Yeah.
I was very hands off, which was new for me. And they're like, "You're a talent. We're setting up lights. You chill, like you rest, girl." And they're like, "These are going to be long days, 12-hour days." But I was like, "This is easy. This is easy." So I knew Bare Feet wasn't going to be this 11 people,
Yeah.
but from the experience of having the space to be completely present in the moment when we were filming, I saw that me as a host, I was much better. I was rested, but I was also much more present, and I was better at doing my job as host, which is what people see. That's front facing of my job. The
Absolutely.
audience doesn't see, nor should they care, that I'm stressed about the next shoot or whatever we're doing. They don't care. They don't see that, and they shouldn't see that. What they should see is Mickela being completely present and getting emotional and feeling this connection with the person in front of her. And that's what season 7 has afforded us, is like, I have a crew, everything's sorted, and I have people who can worry about the things I used to worry about. And all I have to worry about is being in that moment and dancing with these folks and making these beautiful connections and telling good stories. And it's been beautiful. So that was where I really learned, like, Mickela, you don't have to wear all the hats, and it's probably not good if you're wearing all the hats. So figure out how to get more money to get a bigger crew. We have better cameras. It's beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's the show I've always wanted Bare Feet to be. Really.
I would imagine also that working with that core team for season after season after season, a language comes to evolve,
Yeah.
and you all are in almost silent agreement about what an episode of Bare Feet looks like, sounds like, feels like.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps as you say that, because there are so many moments where the crew knows when we're have you ever been on a shoot and like, the magic is coming? Like, my job as a host is to bring the person I'm interviewing, the person I'm dancing with on this journey, to help them feel comfortable with me, vulnerable, that they can feel that comfortable with cameras in front of their face. We're still a small crew, so it's very intimate, but to the point where they feel like they can open up with us and laugh with us and share with us things that are important to them, because most of the people we interview aren't used to being on camera.
Yeah,
Right. So it's my job to make them feel comfortable. It's my crew's job to capture those magical moments. It's also my job to lead the story.
Yeah.
I know the sound bites I want to get from them.
Yeah.
Or I know where I want this story to go, or the type of answers I want them to say, not to manipulate them, but so that I know, oh, that, like, as they're saying these moments, I'm like, magic, magic, magic. And I'm guiding then where this story is going to go. That's my job. That's the biggest part of my job.
It comes across as, you just described a lot of thinking. It doesn't come across that way. It comes across very, very organically and seamlessly. And what I have observed in watching some of the episodes is there's just a pervasive, like, joy and passion for simply, yes, of course, the dance, but moreover, the exploration.
Mm-hmm.
Learning why is this important to these other people?
Mm-hmm.
What makes that something that will unite, the viewer with their story and you with them also?
That makes me so proud that comes through, because that's our whole goal. That's our whole goal. And I think a lot of shows don't do that. I don't think a lot of them have figured that out.
Well, there's such a variety of tone, even within the kind of, and you're sort of a hybrid, between, like, I could easily see your show like on a Travel Channel as well as in a how-to kind of a block, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And, you're kind of a hybrid with that. I feel like your production values move more toward the, the boutique travel kind of genre. But what you don't do, which is fantastic, is your show never feels like a brochure where, here's the beautiful wide shot of the mountains, and then here's the resort, and you never really get inside.
Yeah. Yeah. We do that for a reason. First of all, I don't travel that way.
Yeah.
I don't travel that way. This is where the inspiration for the show came from. This is how I would travel without, and this is how I still travel when I'm traveling for fun, is like, I am at a festival or holiday or street fair and there's people dancing and I jump right in, and I can't speak their language, but we're like laughing and joking and hugging each other. And then all of a sudden they're like, come meet my mother's cooking over here. She has a boot, like that genuinely happens.
Yeah.
And it keeps happening. And that's how I travel And I wanted to somehow capture that as an essence of travel. And to be honest, that's another sense of responsibility. There's so much, and I love that more people are traveling. Traveling is becoming more accessible and more affordable. But there is such an idea of what travel should look like because of social media, because of Instagram, because of all these travel influencers, of like luxury travel, or you get the shot, you get the Instagram shot, but they don't show you behind the camera. There's a line of people just trying to get this one shot. Travel shouldn't be easy. I do a lot of talks. I speak at a lot of events and travel conferences. And the word travel comes from the French travailler, which means to work, right? It means to work.
Exactly.
So, travel isn't always supposed to be easy or nice, but the beauty of it is in that struggle of finding your way, you meet amazing people along the way, and you have these unforgettable experiences. Some of my best memories of travel are the mistakes, quote unquote, again, air quotes, the mistakes that happened. And even in our show, like sometimes we're setting up a shoot and we have as many pre-production calls as possible, and you try and prepare for anything that could go wrong, and then you show up and it's not what you expected, and you have to kind of pivot, and it always ends up the other thing that was supposed to happen was better than what we had planned. Always. Even in Belfast, we had we had 3 hours to reconfigure a whole shoot that was supposed to happen that evening, and it was beautiful. It was amazing. So that to me is like part of that responsibility as a storyteller of there's this facade of what travel should look like. And I think that it's that unattainable perfection of what travel is, and it's not perfect and it shouldn't be perfect. And so you see me crying or throwing up on a side of a boat when I'm getting sick as we're like deep sea fishing in the Cook Islands, or, whatever that is, or me messing up and falling over. I want to show that vulnerability because it's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, Yeah.
Well, it sounds like even before the Bare Feet series, you did a lot of traveling. Are you a expert traveler? Like, are you a super efficient packer and so forth?
Yeah, I am. I mean,
your way through an airport line.
Yeah, I'm of the camp of carry on only if possible.
Okay.
If possible. Like if I'm going on a longer trip, no, that's not logistically possible, especially if I'm going to multiple climates. And I've had to do that where I'm going from, it's like 40 degrees in one spot and it's 70 degrees in another. I need to bring 2 bags. That's just fine. I love traveling alone. I love traveling solo. And I have so many friends that live around the world and family and folks that I just love being able to like pick up and go visit a friend for a week or go somewhere and like pop around for a week. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm also, it's funny when, again, when you introduce people and they're like, they've been to 117 countries and this and this and this. I've only been, and I don't want to say only because I feel very privileged, I've been to about 41 countries. I've been traveling for a long time, but I go back to places a lot. Yeah. I've been to Buenos Aires 3 times. I've been to Uzbekistan twice. I've been to Ireland, I've told you, like loads of times.
What's your preferred method for discovering a place when you first say you're going to a place you've never been to before? How do you want to discover it? Like, are you one of those people that do a ton of research in advance and know that you've got a checklist of things you want to see? Or do you get a sense of the perimeter and just kind of, wander?
It's interesting. Now, I don't go to a place just for fun.
Okay.
Because I travel so much for my job. I go when I want to relax, I go to the places that I know. If I'm going to go to a new place, it's because we're filming and I want to have that deep understanding of the place. Mm-hmm. So if I fall in love with that place, then I'll go back again. Like Guadalupe Islands, I've been to twice, or actually almost 3 times, I think. Is it 3 times now? But I went back after we filmed because I was like, this place is amazing. I love it. For me, travel is work. Travel's a lot of work. Mm-hmm. It's my job. I love it, but I'm not on vacation. Mm-hmm. So if I have the very few times that I can pick up and go, I want to go somewhere where I know I have connection there. It's a place that I've been to before and I feel comfortable. And also because my time's very limited. We filmed season 7 and 8 in the past year. This time last year, we were just going to Ireland to start filming the new season. And they were all places I'd never been to before, regions and areas. And that's a lot of travel. I live in New York. I was in New York for half of the year.
Wow.
Because I travel so much.
Yeah.
So for me personally, right, it's like when I go on vacation, unless that's kind of a lie. I was in Italy last summer. My sister won a beautiful award in Portugal. So I was like, you know what? I've never been to Portugal. Let's go. I'm going to visit you there. But she was there. She was the reason why I went.
Sure.
Also because if you have an in with the local community, it's a completely different experience.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's where I feel really lucky is like, I was going there to see my sister, but she was connected to all of these folks in Portugal. And we had this whole community already built in because they were there to celebrate her. And I was there. And it was so, yeah, I don't have a normal, like, go on vacation, do that, you know, but I do say, like, I'm very efficient getting through the airport. I obviously have TSA global entry. I'm in clear. I have a bunch of access to, I have the Amex lounge. I'm like, I travel a lot, so I need to travel. I don't travel business class. I'm not, you know, like I travel on the cheap. Yep. But all those things, like my time, I'm getting older. And so I really value my time off and my time away. And if I wanted to do it with people that I want to see when I'm there, but also in places that I just know I'll relax and be able to kind of unplug because I'm always working. I'm always working.
It sounds like the right formula. Are you a person who's able to sleep on planes?
I used to be. I'm 43 now. You know, like hormones are changing, something's changing, but I used to be able to sleep anywhere.
Mostly the design of airline seats.
Oh, that too. They've definitely gotten shorter. My trick, especially if I'm going over to Europe, is instead of getting a like a business class seat, which I fly whichever airline is cheapest. I'm not like, I only fly Delta or only, you know. But the trick is, you know, you get in early morning, and if you want to check into your hotel, especially if I'm going to a city where then I'm going to meet a friend later on the trip, so I have to book hotels, I'll book the night before. So for an extra $150, I already can check in at 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. when usually you have to wait till 3 o'clock.
Very smart.
So that's my upgrade right there is like, I'll spend the $150 so the room is ready by the time I land and can go to take a little nap versus exponentially more to sleep on the plane. And I always ask for a window.
An extra half day.
Yeah. So that's the little hack of like, it's much more efficient. It's much more, I'd love to be able to sleep better on a plane. You know, someday, but.
Did I read that you're writing a book?
I am working on a book. I've had so many people say to me, you need to write a book. Your story is incredible. The fact that you're like the persistence of your work and consistency and like this story is amazing. So we are, I'm putting a book. I don't want to self-publish. Okay. I have an agent and I was just talking to him earlier and we are working on getting a book out. Yes. But it would be sort of a combination of a memoir and life lessons learned because I want people to like have some takeaways of pursuing a passion project, but also like these experiences, these beautiful experiences I've had of connecting with people through a truly universal language.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's remind folks where they can find the multiple places they can find seasons 1 through 7 now, and then we'll just whet their appetite for season 8 in the fall.
Yeah. If you go to travelbarefeet.com, everything is there. Or if you go to the PBS app or pbs.org, and look up Bare Feet with me, Mickela Mallozzi. But Travel Bare Feet has everything, travelbarefeet.com. And we're on all the socials at Travel Bare Feet.
Fantastic. Well, really good chatting with you again, Mickela.
Thanks, Michael.
Congratulations on everything that you've done thus far. Look forward to the eventual book and watching the rest of season 7 and looking at season 8.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me again. This is really fun.
Yeah, real pleasure. Take care.